Thank you for joining me. We will be starting in approximately 1 minute and 45 seconds. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this early Wednesday afternoon. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I'm a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. So what is the xTool Squad, you might ask? Well, the xTool Squad is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. And when I say global, it really is global. So it doesn't just span the UK. We have hosts in the US, in Spain, Germany, France, pretty much all over. So when you are part of the xTool Squad program, the host, so I'm a host, will offer a wide variety of services. So one of them is one-on-one demos, and it's one-on-one demos of the xTool products that they own or I own. And the demos are a mix of online and in person. It differs by the host that you select. And some hosts will also offer material testing and skill training. So material testing involves testing customer supplied samples or material under a number of different parameters to get you perfect results. Whereas skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member. You tell us what your needs are and we will set up a regime to train you in those areas that you need to train in. So if you said to me, Wayne, I'm okay with the hardware, the software side of things absolutely scares me, I'm not good with technology, guess what? I will hold your hand and I will guide you through the technology side of things. So it's very much what you want to get out of it. So if you're interested in any of those services, I will drop a link in the comments where you can find a range of hosts. And what I'll do is I will also show you on the website. So if I switch over to the website now, so we go to the main xTool website. Along the top, you can see local support. Alternatively, you can follow the link in the comments. But if you go onto free product demo, you'll be greeted with this screen here. And as you can see, all of these products, demo them absolutely free. So if you're wondering what do I get out of it as a host, I'm not an xTool employee. I have my own business, and so do most of the members that participate in this program. So what we get out of it is this. Firstly, we get paid to demo you the products, regardless if you buy or not. And if you do decide to buy, we will make a small commission. So do bear that in mind. But from my point of view, I get to give an honest demo with no pressure for a sale. So my time is covered. So xTool covers my cost to cover my time to demo the machine I have here in the office. So I highly recommend you check that out. Where possible, I always say go to visit a host in person. Honestly, when I have people come here in the office, I've done online demos and I've done in-person demos, and the in-person demos are always way more interactive. When I show people real-time framing on the Galvo-based lasers, for example, people's minds are blown. So they see it online and they see the TikTok videos and the YouTube reels and things like that, and it can look a bit like tech trickery, so wizardry going on with the video editing, but it's not. So I had a customer here in the office yesterday and engraved a few things, and when I say it was done in 10 seconds, it was amazing from his point of view to watch it. So he wanted to record it and all that other good stuff. So it's good to see. So I highly recommend you check out these products in person where possible. If not, please do book an online demo. And to do that, it's a simple case of selecting what you want to do. So I could go, do you know what? I want an in-person demo. I want to demo the P2S and I'm based in, sorry. We could go, okay, we'll go with Andy. So it tells you what machines Andy has as well. So here you can see Andy has the P2S, the F2 Ultra UV, the F2 Ultra, the Air Purifier 2, the Apparel Printer, and he does the Apparel Printer sample film, and he also has the Wonder Press, which will work great with the Apparel Printer. So if I wanted to book Andy, it's a simple case of clicking and following the prompt. So I just click on Andy, click continue, and I can see his availability. So Andy's away for the next couple of weeks, but I could go, do you know what? I'll book him on the 31st. And these are the times that he's available. So I highly recommend you check that out. I will be speaking more about Andy in particular because we'll be talking about the Apparel Printer. So Andy is one of the hosts with the Apparel Printer. I do not have that. But we'll talk a bit about the new Apparel Printer. So there's a new Apparel Printer that's been released. It's a slight upgrade, but a very meaningful upgrade over the Apparel Printer. And there is a path to upgrade. So people that have the Apparel Printer are not left out. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So for now, what we'll do is I do have a rough idea of what I want to go over, but I'm going to jump straight into the xTool Creative Studio. We will talk about the project notes and the auto mode, batch processing and importing. So hopefully I can get around to doing that today, show you how to batch, process and import. So I might touch on that today and actually go through the batch processing and importing completely on Friday from start to finish. So I think that's a very meaningful thing if you are batching out products. And when I say batching out, not just the same design with different designs. Maybe you have coasters that have the same logo on, but have different names. So for example, this would have come in handy when I had my wedding and I did coasters. And the only thing that changed is people's names. So I manually typed that in. I could have imported the CSV file of all their names and had that do it automatically. So I'll show you just how easy that is. And I might show you briefly, but without the importing. So we'll enter it in manually. There's a new updated feature for trimming in terms of the node trimming. And there's a lot more updates in terms of version 1.814. And it adds the Apparel Printer Plus as well as the O1 to the supported list for this software. So if you have either of those machines, you need this version of software or higher. So without further ado, if we just jump straight over to the software, so I'll just show you the software full screen. So this is xTool Creative Studio. This is available absolutely free. You can download it today. So I'll drop a link to that in the comments. So if you said to me, Wayne, I want to test out one of the printers, so the O1, for example, but I don't have it yet, I just want to have a look at it, you can absolutely do that. So if I was to click new project, it will automatically connect me to my last laser. Now, if you do not have any lasers, So if you don't have any lasers whatsoever, let's just say you got a laser on the way, or maybe you have the O1 on the way, you've pre-ordered it. If you go up to this Switch Device Connect, you've got this device library. So if you go to device library, you can see all of xTool's products here. So it's kind of like a trial mode. There's certain aspects that you won't be able to do on it because the laser's not connected. But in terms of getting a feel for the software, this is fantastic. And I've been using this personally with the O1. I have the O1 on pre-order, so I'm waiting eagerly for it to arrive. But I've done some cost analysis with software as it is. So I know a rough idea in my head what I'm going to set my prices for some of my products at, because I know exactly how much it's going to cost me. So in that regard, if I was to show you something that I want to print off, so I want to print off a picture of my dog, and I've used this picture many times. It's one of my favorite pictures of my dog. So this picture here was taken when Chuck was still pretty young. But I love this picture here because it looks like a heart shape here. But anyway, I want to print this off. And I want to know exactly how much ink it's going to cost me. So first off, I know that I want to print it 20 centimeters wide and 25 centimeters high. So you can see there 200 millimeters by 250 millimeters. Now I can say, you know what, I want this to pop. So I want some white color and varnish. There we go, I want it matte. And again, it gives you a preview here. And then I can go, do you know what, how much will this cost me? So if I hit process, it will tell you a few things. I'm not too worried about this here because the printer is non-existent at the moment, but I'm interested about this. So first off, it's going to take me 34 minutes, call it 35 minutes print. If I hit calculate, it will actually tell me how much it will cost me in ink. So in terms of ink, it will tell me exact usages of the ink in cyan, magenta, yellow, black, as well as white. And then you've got the varnish cost. So the total cost is going to be approximately 87p. Print a 20 by 25 centimeter picture. So for me, this is fantastic. If you are interested in starting a business and you want to know, you have some ideas of products and you want to know, I know it's going to cost me £2 or £5 for this material. How much is it going to cost me in terms of time and ink to turn it, the raw product into a finished goods? You have this ability with this software to do that. And you can do that today and do some cost analysis. I regularly do this. So when a new product gets released, as soon as it's available on this little menu, I check it out and just see, is it feasible? Is it something that I can get my return on investment back? And for me, this is a no-brainer. This adds a new dimension to my products that I can sell. So I highly recommend you check this out. And again, you can download this software free today and test it out. So a few other things I want to mention. I always do go over these, so apologies if it's a bit repetitive. But one of the main reasons why I choose xTool over any of the other brands that are out there, and there are other brands out there, xTool has a complete ecosystem. So there's no point in buying a Ferrari if it's limited to 30 miles an hour. If you buy a Ferrari, you want to go as fast as you want to go. Not that I advise that, but my point is you don't want to be held back by software. So xTool have done a fantastic job of integrating their software into all of their products. I can move seamlessly from one of my lasers to one of my more expensive lasers to the O1, because all of the design elements are already there. The foundations are already there. They're already built. It's not two different pieces of software. It's the same software. So xTool are extremely amazing at what they do in this regard. They've created Atom projects. So Atom is also a separate website, so atomm.com, but it's also integrated here into the software. If you're new to laser engraving or printing, so a power printer or maybe the O1, you have both aspects covered. So from day one, you can download designs. A lot of them are free, some of them are paid for. You do have the ability to share your own products that you've designed, and you do get rewards in the sense of points that you can use for AI generation, and I'll show you that a little later. So if you're new to laser engraving or printing, you're able to effortlessly get projects to get you up and running. So I can go, do you know what? I want to do this. And it will open up, confirm switch from 20 watt to 40 watt. So this was done on the S1. And I can get, do you know what? I don't have the S1. I have a different device. I have the M1 or the M2. And there we go. So I've just switched that to the M2. Can't really see it. I'll switch it over to there. In fact, if I make this red, there we go. And it's set the settings accordingly. So you can see here, 100 power, 4 speed. Now, if I was to change that and go over to device library, and let's just say we choose the P3. So bear in mind, it's 100 power, 4 speed. And on the P3, it's 90 power, 50 speed. So you can see that xTool will automatically adapt when you select the correct materials to the device that you're using. So again, if I switch this back to the M2, there we go. You can see here, 100 power, 4 speed. And honestly, this is one of the top selling points for xTool, this material library. And this isn't anything new. This is just one of many things that xTool do. So one of the new updates that's come out, so we've selected here automatically as part of that project, was this 3mm basswood. And you do have the ability to preview it. So one of the new features of this software, if I move this onto the bed, that's what it's saying. So I move this onto the work area and I hit preview. It will show you what it looks like. You can see here how it's broken out. So the middle pieces, so you can see cut out and then all parts. It gives you an idea. So rather than just how is that going to look when I cut it out, when I first started cutting projects like this out that has very intricate details, when I've designed it myself and I've cut it out and I'm like, oh no, that shouldn't have cut out there. It doesn't look right. Now I can actually visualize it and go, does this look right? It's the middle layer that we're more concerned with. And do you know what? That looks fantastic. So or it's been cut out of the main piece of wood, and then we've had several pieces cut out here, all this intricate detail. And you might go, do you know what? I do want this, but this would make a wonderful card. Guess what? Just switch the material. So I could go, do you know what? Blue cardstock, apply, preview. There we have it. And you could go, okay, has it changed the settings? And the answer would be yes, 50 power, 15 speed. And again, you can have granular control from a material test that xTool's done. xTool have reached out. So this is, a lot of this stuff is with xTool Select Material. So if you're looking for perfect settings from day one, I would highly recommend going with xTool Select Material just to get you going. So if you follow that link there that I've dropped in the comments, that will take you to xTool's website or the UK version of xTool's website, where you can find a list of material. And it comes with a QR code. So if I was to show you just how that QR code works and helps, I always thought it was a little gimmick. Why has this got a QR code? And I was scanning it with my phone, as you naturally do. But what I didn't know is you could actually scan it on the machine. So if I move this project to the side, and what I'll do is I'll demo the M2. So you can see here, I've moved it to the center of my office, to the worktop there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a simple keychain. And what I'll do is I'll make this full screen just so you can see it a bit better. So try to stay out of your way. So this is a QR code, and that is simple keychain. So I'm just going to drop that in and put this anywhere on the bed. There we go. And I'm going to close that. And what that will do is it will automatically focus on the material. So you can see the machine doing something. So if I was to show you the software now, what it's done. So I'll do the same thing again, but I'll create a new project over here. You can see here it's detected that. Hit apply. So if I was to close out of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, take this out, and we're going to start again. So I just want to show you this as it's an important feature of the M2. This is auto mode. So again, it's connected to the last, to where this project was designed on, which is an S1. I'm going to switch and connect to the M2. So you can see it's moved to the center. It's took a picture. I'm going to make that red. I'm going to do that. And you know what? We'll see what it looks like engraved. You know what? We'll do the same thing, but we'll engrave this on here. So I have some xTool select material here in the office. And this is what I use for doing in-person demos, just people that are brand new. You can bring your own material in the sense of you're not limited to just engraving or cutting on xTool material. If you're new, I highly advise it because it's simple. So you just seen what happened on the screen. So it identified the material. It even took a close-up picture. And that is because it's in this automation mode or auto mode. So it's identified that QR code and it's set the appropriate setting. And I can go, do you know what? We'll do this. And if I click on this, just have a look. I like my material a little bit darker. So I'll do that. I like a starker contrast. So I'll go with not the recommended. I'll go with slightly more power, but the same speed. So 50% power. And if I had the 20 watt module installed, not the 10 watt, it would change these settings. So I'm happy with that. What I'll do, you can see the air assist percentage is on there, so that's new. So you can adjust that specific for this engraving, which is absolutely wonderful. Rather than it being a feature of every engrave is set to 15%, you can do it on a design by design basis. So I think this is a fantastic thing that xTool's done. Now, if I was to frame it, I want to show you the virtual frame. This is what I use most often. So if I hit frame, I'll be greeted with a virtual on screen. So if I zoom in, and this crosshair is where the design is going to create a perimeter. So if I hit start, go, okay, that looks good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in here and I'm going to adjust it. I'm going to make it straight. So I'm going to use the crosshair that's in there and just make that sit straight. So I've done that again. And what's happened is, again, it's highlighted and you can see the green perimeter around here. And it's got the correct focus from the product that's in there. And now I'm happy with that. And again, I'll do another frame. And I will zoom in. And again, this is a fantastic piece of kit for the price. And if you're new to laser engraving, so you can see that is pretty much where I want it. So framing complete. And what I'll do now is I'll hit process, hit start, and I'm good to go. So I hit the start button on the front of the machine and it will literally start engraving. So if I hit that, and I should note, I have this connected to the air purifier. So I'm not venting this outside. So this is going to take 3 minutes. So if I enable monitoring, I can see what's going on in the actual machine. So while that is engraving, I can minimize and I can go, do you know what? I want to connect to a different laser. So I could open up a new tab and I can go, I need to do something on my f2 Ultra. And I'm able to do that. It will automatically take a picture. So right now I have the cutting plate in there. So I've been cutting out some paper, wood on my f2 Ultra. So one of the benefits of using the Ultra for cutting is it uses its high photon energy to break down the molecular bonds of the material. So it doesn't just use heat, and it can do so without causing charring. So if I was to show you something that I cut out, so if I switch over to the desk, so there's several things. So I've cut out this. There we go. It would help if I open up the lid. So this is a simple giraffe. And you can see here, I used it to engrave. The engrave is perfect. Nice and dark. Exactly how I want it. So high contrast. Very easy to see. No charring. So up here, I chopped off a little bit of his head. Give it a little trim. And that is with a diode laser. And you can see the difference. So again, this is very similar. I did this live Monday, I believe. So this was cut out of a diode laser, and you can see when you do cut it out, if you run your finger over it, you get some soot. Now I chopped this out, and you can see absolutely no charring. So it does take a while to do it on the UV compared to a diode or a CO2, but the results are different. So do bear that in mind. So that is still working away. So while that is doing that, I will cover some of the other aspects that I want to cover today. So the xTool Academy, I highly recommend people check this out if you are new to laser engraving. And again, you can download the software today and go over this. So you can say, do you know what, Wayne, I'm looking at the M2, but this is my first laser. I have absolutely no idea and I'm scared. This will show you how to go through it. So there's advanced and there's beginner, so you can getting started. And it's literally, a lot of it is videos. So getting started, unboxing the M2, setting it up. It sounds complicated, but it's a fully enclosed unit. And the hardest thing is unboxing it. So you can see up here, send M2, done. So if I close out of that, I'm going to go over. What I'll do is I will put the QR code back on my storage bin. So I have a number of storage bins where I store the raw material, and this QR code is perfect in one of them. So I'll have to show you that. If I go back to the desk, and that is just something I found on Atom. And again, Atom is xTool's collaboration platform. So you can collaborate. You can just use it to download designs and upload your own. And again, it is that simple. So what we'll do now is we'll have a quick look at the F2. So there's a new aspect to the F2. So the F2, this is my F2 I have here in the office. So this is the emergency stop on it. So sometimes I mention you can use the emergency stop, but you can't really see it from the camera angle. So I've decided to switch it around. So this is the emergency stop, but this is the bit I want to show you. So this is the F2 Go air purifier, and it physically attaches to the back. So no tube is required. You don't need that hose pipe. It physically attaches to the back, and it has an air filter in there. And this is very meaty. So it's got some weight to it, and it tells you what it's got. So it's got a HEPA filter, modified carbon, and then another HEPA filter. So it's got like a pre-filter effectively. and the pre-filter, or pre-HEPA filter even. And it's got a pre-filter at the bottom, which is this bit here. Back, so it's a simple case of putting this on the back. So you want this bit on the top and you want the fluffy bit on the bottom. And it's a case of just putting that in there. And these are magnetic and it will just snap together. But one of the key benefits of this is the single power supply. So no longer do you need a power supply to run to this and a power supply to run to that. It's literally one cord. So this is a splitter and this powers both this and the F2, and this is called the F2 Air Purify Go. This has really simplified my setup. So no longer do I have to take two different devices. When I'm out and about doing craft fairs, I can just take this one single device. If I was to show it you from the other side, I switch over to my iPhone, hopefully kick in. There we go. So if I switch over here, and you can see this is the dial. So if I open this up, you may or may not see a red dot or blue dot here. But basically this dial here controls, you can see this moving. So the handle's going to go off the screen now. So this dial will move the laser up or down. So what happens is it projects two lights, a blue light and a red light. And what you want to do is get the blue light to intersect with the red light. So when you put material in there, you want the two dots to become one effectively. And what that means is the laser is the correct focus away from the material to give you perfect results. And again, this is what it looks like. It fits seamlessly to this device. So this is a fantastic piece of kit. So what I'll do now is I will simply unplug this. So I'm going to unplug it, so take out the power supply. And what I will do is I will switch this around directions. So I'm going to just thread the power through and just show you just how light this machine is. So it's got a handle here and it does add some weight to it, the air purifier, but in terms of portability, it's still very portable. I can still easily pick this up with one hand. So this F2 is 4.6 kilograms in weight. I'm not sure the weight of this. It does add some weight to it, but I would say it's probably about 7 kilograms in total, no heavier than that is what I would say. So I've moved this over, and what I'll do now is I will simply connect the power back up, and I'll switch over to the other camera. So if I switch back, there we go. Just so you can see, and what I'll do is I'll zoom in, see if I've got it correct. That is good enough. And there we go. So right now you can see a dot, and what I'll do is I will move this out and I will put in a black business card. When you buy this machine, it does come with a bracket. I do love using these brackets because it's a simple way to square it off. So right now you can see two dots, a red dot and a blue dot. Now if I switch over to the software, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to that, and you can see here that it's a picture. But what I want to show you is a couple things. First off, you can manually adjust that blue dot by clicking on this auto measure. So if I click on this auto measure and then make this full screen, you can see the dot moving now, and that's doing it automatically in the software. So you can do that. Alternatively, you can enter in a measurement. So I can say, do you know what, this is 20 millimeters. I know that not to be the case. So you can now see that the not in focus properly. So xTool have also incorporated a new mode in this mode in the F2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this on the screen and I'll make it bigger. And I'll put it kind of here. Now, what I want to do is I want to enable auto mode. So to do that, you go to device settings, not to be confused with xTool Studio settings. So device settings is found to the immediate right of the laser. So F2 settings here. Now, here you can find a variety of settings. So one of the new features is you can link it to your account to show you the warranty information. I think that's a fantastic idea. I can see it's connected over Wi-Fi. There's its IP address. So I have it on a different IP address range specifically for my laser engravers. So 87, I know, is laser engraven territory or printing. So you got this auto mode. So it stops when the enclosure is opened. I've enabled that. So this means that the machine will not operate with the lid open. If I do operate it with it open, I will use my safety glasses, which are located just next to the machine there. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And what I'll do is I'll enable this auto mode. Processing accuracy. After enabling auto mode, place the material in the base plate center. Ensure the combined red dot, blue dots fall under the surface. Absolutely. That's what it does. So the blue dot stays focused. So the red dot is the one that moves. So some people get confused and like, well, if I need to put it under it, how do I know which one it needs to go under until it's fully focused? All you need to be concerned of is put your material under the blue dot. And it's the red dot that will move to intersect with the blue dot. So I've been asked that question a few times. So right now I'm going to have it as close enclosure will trigger it. So when I close the machine, it will automatically trigger this auto mode. So I'm going to leave that on. And now you can see auto mode. So device is in use with another app, auto mode, take over. There we go. And if you're wondering why that popped up, I also have the xTool Studio app on my iPad and my phone. So I can use the F2 with my mobile phone. So that's not to be confused with the xTool Creative Studio app. This is a brand new app. It's the xTool Studio app, and it's available on the Apple App Store as well as the Android App Store. So if I close this, you can see now on the screen, it says focusing. And the focus has been successful. No material information detected. But did you see what it just did? It automatically aligned this to the center of the material. So let me do that again. I'm going to put this here. And remember, this triggers every time we open and close it. So I'll open it and I'll close it. So again, you can see this focusing. Its focus has been successful. No material detected, and boom. So this is very, very handy. This is a very meaningful update for me. So if I'm doing coasters, whether they be square or circle, this is fantastic. This saves me an added step. So auto mode has its purposes. Sometimes you might not want it in auto mode. There are use cases for both. So X will have you covered in either regard. So if I hit this processing, right now it's set to the beechwood varnish beechwood. We know that not to be the case. So in this case, I know metal and this aluminum business cards. And it's automatically set to infrared. So anyone that's been around lasers will know that certain lasers have their niches. So fiber laser and infrared is perfect for working with metal. So if you said to me, Wayne, I'm looking to do a surface level mark on keychains, the F2 with its 5-watt infrared laser is absolutely perfect. Now, if you said to me, Wayne, I want to take out some of the material so you can get a physical engrave, so you can physically feel that with your nail if you run over it, then we're talking fiber laser territory. So if you're trying to remove metal or maybe cut very thin metal, then you're looking at the F2 Ultra or the F1 Ultra, depending on what level power you need. So the F1 Ultra has 20-watt MOPA fiber laser, whereas the F2 Ultra has a 60-watt MOPA laser, so very powerful. If I click on this process and results, I can see what it looks like. Now, I'll show you one of the drawbacks of the auto mode, one of the reasons why you might want it off. So if I open this up, I just want to do a frame. So I want to see how this looks, and I've got it set to outline. And if I hit frame, I don't know how well you can see that, so I'll do that and see if I can zoom in. But basically, I can see an outline of the butterfly. Now, if I just do a square rectangle, you might be able to see that better. So square rectangle generally tells me if it's center or not. So that's pretty accurate. That's pretty darn accurate. So I'm happy with that. So now I'm happy with that. If I close it, because I've still got framing on, it won't do it, thankfully. But if I was to just open it and close it, it would go through the focusing again. So there are reasons why you want to turn it off. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit process, and it's going to take 19 seconds. And what I'll do is I'll actually do 2 passes. And this is because these business cards in particular that I have slightly thicker paint. So the first pass will get a lot of the paint off and oxidize some of the material underneath, whereas the second pass will really give it a crisp white look. I'm going to do 2 passes, and that's going to take 38 seconds. And what I'll do is I'll hit start, and I will switch over to my iPhone, and I will get closer on my iPhone so you can hopefully get a better look. There we go. So I'm going to hit the start button. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll just go around. You can see the difference in that second pass. And that is simply because the black paint on these business cards that I use are slightly thicker than standard. So this is non-xTool material, and this is why the settings will differ. So if you're wondering why the settings are different, this here is non-xTool material. And you can see, if I put that there, and what I'll do is I will aim this back roughly there. There we go. And what I'll do, I'll switch this back over now to the desk camera just so you can see. And again, that's that same design. And that honestly is how easy it is to use xTool software with the laser. So you don't have to be a professional, a seasoned professional. You can honestly get started with this today. And that, what I showed you, was the F2 along with the F2 air purifier. So what I'll do is I'll drop a link to the F2 and the air purifier. So if you was to just have a look at it, you can either find it under lasers or search for it. So if I just search for F2, so this is xTool's website, you can see here xTool F2, and they've got a couple of different bundles. So you got your standalone bundle, and you do have different things to go with it, like the slide extension, deluxe bundle that has the air purifier. So I have the air purifier, but now I have the on-the-go bundle, which is fantastic. So the air purifier Go, but they also have the option to buy the F2 with DJI Power 1000 Mini. So they've teamed up, and this is able to power the device on the go. If you're worried, if you're out doing a car boot and you say, do you know what, I have no power, I would love to use the F2, xTool have you covered. So they've partnered with DJI, so everyone's heard of DJI. And then you also have this F2 on the go bundle, and this on the go bundle has the DJI Power 1000 Mini and the Air Purifier Go, along with the F2, and that's for £1,569. That's an absolute steal. So bear in mind, if you was to buy the standalone, that's 1,300, call it. So for £130, you're getting that when you bundle it in. That is absolutely insane. So if you've ever had a look at the price of a decent portable battery to run appliances off, you're talking £400 or £500. So to get that bundled in for an extra 130, that is a no-brainer, an absolute no-brainer. I'm considering buying another F2 along with this, just to get the whole bundle for the price that it's at. So I'm seriously considering that, to have one F2 that lives just here in the office and one that I can just keep ready to go at any moment in time. So please do check that out. And one of the other things that I wanted to mention today, so we talked about the apparel printer. So xTool have an apparel printer, and this is an amazing piece of kit if you've ever seen it in operation. xTool is going to be in Birmingham at the end of September at the NEC. So there's a conference there, an exhibit, and they're going to be there. I will be there as well. It's going to run for 3 days. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in checking out physically any of these machines and you're near Birmingham, please do check it out. I'll have the details, more details about it on Friday. So I was just told about it today, and I jumped at the opportunity because I live in Birmingham. The NEC is just a stone's throw away. So if you've ever seen this apparel printer, you will know that xTool mean business. So xTool don't just make a product to keep up with the competition. They will only make a product if they can take something and make it better. So by that I mean is, if they can't do anything different than the competition, they won't bother. So xTool have used their knowledge of lasers. They're the leader in lasers at the moment, and I cannot see that changing anytime soon with the innovation that is happening at xTool. And they've incorporated it into this apparel printer. And they've done the same thing with the O1. They've incorporated that knowledge that they've acquired and then adapted it into their xTool ecosystem. So xTool Studio. So again, you would use the same software that I just showed you, but you'll be connected to this printer and you can just print to it. So this is just the printer. What I would recommend is you get the all-in-one bundle. So this will operate it indoors. So you get this the Safety Pro AP2 air purifier. So this will connect up to this device here. So you don't have to vent the fumes outside. You can just vent it to there. So you can operate this anywhere you want. And this also includes the OS1 automatic shaker oven. So for those that do not know about DTF, so direct to film printing, you have to cure it. So just because you print on it doesn't mean it's ready to go onto a t-shirt. So like this, for example, I did this myself. You need to cure it. So what will happen is it will print out and it will automatically feed into this oven where it will shake the powder that needs to go on the back on it, and it will cure it, ready to use. So you don't have to take out print and put it into the oven manually. It's an automated solution. So if I scroll down, you can just see some of the things that it can do. So it will break it down. Some of the features of it, the ink is a Oco-Tex ink, and this is safe for babies. So if you're doing baby grows and things like that, you want to make sure that you're using the ink that's not going to impact child's health. So xTool's ink is very safe to use. It's properly certified, so it's none of this off-brand stuff that can potentially be hazardous or damage your machine. This is all very safe to use. And on top of that, you get amazing results. So xTool, third party, you can see the difference. So this is the look that you want. So this is where the film is actually ingrained into the fabric, whereas this is more, it sits on top. And when it sits on top, after a few washes, it will start to peel. So you'll notice that there are two very different things. So when you get into this, this is the result you want here on the left, not the one on the right. So the reason why I mention this is a fantastic product in and itself. It has an automatic cleaning system. If you're looking to do this, everyone knows the dangers, the problems of the white ink drying up and clogging, and you spend more time maintaining the equipment than printing it. xTool have helped reduce that. And you can even track it on your phone. So you could say, what else could xTool do to improve it? And herein, now we have the Power Printer Plus. So this is on the American website. That's because it's not yet available here in the UK. We're hoping by next month it will be available. And why do I mention that? You might say, I already have the Power Printer. Now they've released the Plus. You're in luck. You can reach out to xTool and get an upgrade kit. So you can pretty much have everything that is in the Power Printer Plus with the Power Printer, minus one humidity sensor. So you can upgrade your Power Printer to pretty much the Power Printer Plus. And it has some meaningful upgrades in terms of humidity, so monitoring and managing humidity to stop that white ink being problematic. It has a variety of other features. So it's definitely well worth checking out. And again, like I said, it's a very meaningful upgrade. It does have auto wet capping and that built-in humidifier. So again, you can upgrade your Power Printer to this Power Printer Plus. It's just a single humidity sensor, from what I'm told, is the only difference. So if you was to buy the Power Printer Plus versus upgrade the Power Printer, it's just a single humidity sensor that you're missing. But it's the same great machine. And xTool have done a fantastic job of not leaving the first adopters out and coming out with a new machine that leaves these people in the dark. So xTool have done a fantastic job at looking after their current clients that have this machine. And the reason why I mention it is, if you're looking for a demo of the Power Printer, I would highly recommend Andy. So Andy's here. He's based in Surrey, and he has the Power Printer and he uses it daily. So if you're looking for information, if you're looking for a demo online or in person, please do reach out to Andy. And again, you can find Andy on the xTool Squad page. So what I'll do is I will post that link in again to the xTool Squad. And all you have to do is select a Power Printer. And you can find Andy there. So again, Andy's based in Surrey. And you can check that out. And while you're there, you might as well check out the Wonderpress. So the Wonderpress is xTool's heat press, brand new heat press. And it works in conjunction with the Power Printer, because once you've printed off your design, you can't just stick it to a t-shirt or tote bag. You have to apply some heat to it. So the Wonderpress is pretty new. So if I go back over and go to DIY tools, the Wonderpress. So I do have the Wonderpress. I've not had time to set it up. It's literally still boxed in the house. I have the full everything version. I'm guessing it's the Efficiency Boost Deluxe bundle. Yep, I have this version. So I have the 3D form module, the craft oven, and the dual station, along with the actual Wonder Press. So I have all of that. I would like to say how it is, but I've not yet unboxed it, so I've not had time. I'm hoping to unbox it in the next couple of hours, if I can get around to it, and maybe show you on Friday. But I would highly recommend you check that out. And like I said, Andy has his. So again, if you're looking for a demo of that, please do check him out. He's a fantastic guy. He's very knowledgeable, and he will be able to sort all your needs out in terms of the apparel printing and any laser questions as well, for that matter. So that's the Wonder Press. And again, please do check it out. It's a fantastic bit of kit, and I can't wait to start using mine. And if you say to me, Wayne, the apparel printer, I'd love to have it, it's too expensive, there are discounts available. So if you're looking for a discount, please do contact me. My contact information is in the form. I'll also drop a coupon code that you can use. So you can use this coupon code, everything except the O1 and Wonder Press at the moment, because they're very new. But if you are looking to buy one, do reach out to me and we'll see what we can work out, see what we can do. Trying to think of what else we have here. So I guess if I jump back over to the software, there is a few things I want to show you in terms of the software. So I will, there we go. So in terms of the software, there's a couple of brand new features. And what I'll do is I will just do this so you can hopefully see that. So I've made a rectangle and I'll make a star. There we go. That would help if I click it. There we go. So I've intersected them both. And you could say, do you know what? I want to trim off the edges. So you see how it knows. So that's one of the new features, being able to trim. So you could say, okay, that's fairly good. What else is new? So one of the other things, you got this project notes. This is fantastic. So the reason why this is, let's just say I'm engraving on black business cards. I need to remember to invert. So I could say, remind me before processing, invert picture. I'll close that down. If I hit process, invert picture. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean, Wayne? Invert the picture. If I go over to this AI make, I'm going to go over to an image that I did on Monday. I'm going to cut this out. There we go. Confirm, crop, save. Now what I'll do is I will show you the difference between inverting. I'm going to put this same business card back in and we'll do it on the back side. And I'm going to close that. And what I'll do is I'll switch that so you can see it. So that's fully focused. So we'll do that there. And I'll duplicate this and we'll have that there. Might need to shrink it just a little bit. There we go. So this is Chuck on the left, Chuck on the right. Now what I'll do is I'll hit edit. We have it selected as black metal business card and it knows how to best auto adjust it. So, and underneath I will say inverted I'll make this red so you can see it. I'll engrave it. I'll just put that underneath invert to the one without text. And we'll just say not inverted. There we go. So this is all set to engrave, and we'll do 2 passes with that because again we know these ones. I'll do 180, 60% power, absolutely fine. Process. Invert picture. So I have inverted the picture, and you can see it's going to take 3 minutes 19 seconds. I'm going to hit start. So I'm going to leave that to go do its thing. So if I minimize this, I might as well show you how the batch processing works. So it could be that we wanted names underneath this. So I'm going to put name here. If I select this and go over to useful tools and generators, you have this variable design. So I'm going to select the name because I want the name as a variable design. I'm going to hit add variable. So you can see there, it's fonts, auto scale text. So we could go, do you know what? We don't want that. We want it to only go like that. And in terms of the name, I can go Wayne, Chuck, so you can say, okay, that's actually done nothing. So if I duplicate this, so you can right click and you can copy and paste. So to duplicate, I just press the command key and D. You can see this says 2 now. So if I was to variable preview, Wayne and Chuck. So if I was to have 6 different keychains and just put this on there, you can do that. Do I have the xTool M2? I do have the M2. I need some help on the color output, and also wanted to know if you can cut paper. I can cut paper. So what are the problems that you're having with the color, Deanne? So if I was to show you some of the things I've printed. So this was printed with pre-treatment and no treatment. And I don't know how well you can see the difference in that. But if I was to find this, so this was treated when I printed it. And this again is with the M2. And this was not treated. So are you getting results like that? So do let me know, Deanne. There we go. So right now that's done. So again, if I was to show you what this looks like, desktop, what is the more favorable result? So as you can see, that is not inverted, and that is inverted and gives you ideal results. So the reason for this is because when you engrave on this material, so this is black material, when you engrave it, it goes white. Now, what happens is when you engrave a photo, what will happen is it will look like a negative. So although this one here looks like a negative, what we're doing is we're counteracting how it appears on this by reversing it. So we're making it a negative, so we're inverting it. And then when it engraves it, because it's a black material or a dark material and it goes a light color, it will look better. So this might not make sense right now, but as you go about your laser journey, this makes perfect sense. So I use this all the time when I'm doing slate, for example. So slate is another good example where you engrave a photo on it and it doesn't look right. And what you have to do is just invert that photo and do it again, and it will make sense. It comes out absolutely perfect. So again, one's inverted, one is not. Highly recommend you invert it. In terms of the M2, so I can cut paper on it. I raise it up and I cut paper on it. So I've got the 10 watt version. I've cut out a few different things in paper, in fact. So I highly recommend, if you're using your own paper, to do a material test first, because you want to find the settings that will cut but give you the least amount of charring. So especially with light colored paper, you want to be very mindful of that because it's an energy source, a high power, high heat. You don't want to leave too much charring. Now, in terms of printing, because the M2 doesn't have any white ink, it will take on the background color. So by that, I mean, if I was to show you another one that I've got. So I'm going to switch over to the desk cam again and just show you this. So this was done on the M2. This was done on the M2. So this will pop more than this because this is a darker color. So you can see the blue is more subdued. And just to show you what that looks like, this is the same picture. And again, it's more subdued on this than that because this is a light color. So do bear that in mind when you're printing with the M2. The ink on the M2 is also water-based. So if you're printing to a canvas bag, for example, bear that in mind because it can wash out with the rain and you can't put it in the wash. So again, this is not treated. So this is like a darker color. It's absorbed into the wood in a way that I didn't want it to. So I've treated it here and it's not absorbed as fast and it looks absolutely perfect. My wife wants this for the Christmas tree this year. So I'm going to do another one of these, but with the O1. So when the O1 arrives, I'll be doing that. And this image was generated using the AI make from the real picture that I showed you earlier of Chuck with that love heart here. The print on sticker paper is coming out pale. What color is your sticker paper? Yeah, because the color can make all the difference. But my contact information is on the screen. If you've got WhatsApp, white. Yeah, that shouldn't be coming out pale. What I'll do is if you message me on WhatsApp, I'll try and get you sorted. So if you give me a shout on WhatsApp, my contact information, I'll drop them in the chat again. Possibly. If I can see your design, I can test it out here in the office and I can see, is it something with your ink or is it something with the design or is it a setting? So if you contact me, I'll print it out here in the office. I've got some normal white sticky paper So I'll do that, and we'll go from there. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll be online again on Friday at noon, the same time as today. If you got any questions, please do reach out. You're welcome, Deanne. I'll see you on Friday. Thank you everyone for tuning in.